Okay, so we've got a lot of news. I mean, we kind of got off on a tangent there talking about Syria, but I wanted to hit that for you, Pat George, because that is important. And, we've got some other news. So we talked about the Democrat debates coming up tomorrow evening. On Friday, we mentioned the FISA report coming out from the Inspector General is supposed to come out on the FISA abuses. So we're going to see yet again how the Inspector General handles that. Do we get another report that's got 500 or 1,000 pages of abuses and wrongdoing, and then the final conclusion is there were no abuses and wrongdoing, because that's kind of the pattern that we've seen from the Inspector General? Or are we going to get a report where the factual details, the findings, are in line with the final conclusion, and it finds that there is abuse? I mean, there's no question that there were massive abuses of the FISA system, and that's all been covered by an order entered by Judge Rosemary Collier, who also sits on the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. And she entered an order a few years ago talking about their massive abuses, where they let unsupervised third-party contractors freely search the FISA databases. And you're talking about they did searches on tens of thousands of Americans. And what happened to the data that was returned by the search? We don't even know. There's some people who speculate, and I think there's some reason to possibly believe that some of that data was actually captured for future use. So, I mean, imagine that, folks. Imagine if now it really doesn't ring true to any of us because we're all normal people. We got normal lives. We're not these hyper-political people who are always trying to be at war with our political opponents. But imagine if we were, or just imagine what you could do if you could look up all your friends and you have dirt on all your friends and all your enemies and everybody else, and you just put that on a disk, and I'm just going to save this for when I might need it one day, when I might need to use some of this. I mean, it's kind of frightening when you think about the level of information that these people had unsupervised access to. So that's coming out on Friday. I'm hoping that's going to be a bombshell, and I'm hoping that's going to lead to some kind of criminal indictments because, I mean, we've got to have some justice here at some point. And, I wanted to share with folks because I listened to a lot of different commentators and analysts, and there's one in particular that I really like, and that's Greg Hunter. And, we've sort of covered his postings, and it's not really a blog, but it's more like a video thing that he does. He interviews a lot of people. But he had some really interesting comments on Bill Barr and what might or might not be coming down that I wanted to share with folks. Let's see if we can run that.
I think also, too, and I'm hoping this is right, that William Barr and John Durham, the people, the Attorney General and his top investigator, are investigating this coup and how it started. And there's so many things we know about already. I don't know what they're waiting for. They know that the FISA warrants were phony. They know they used a phony dossier paid for by Hillary Clinton. They know they used this dossier to apply fraudulently for FISA warrants. They know that even in the Mueller report, they named a Russian operative who was really an operative for the United States of America. Masood, I think the name is. I mean, it's just that they know so many things that were totally bogus and totally wrong. I hope that William Barr is going to actually do his job and indict people. But, he did lose Jeffrey Epstein to his second attempt at suicide. So, I'm very uneasy about William Barr and what he's doing. I mean, so far he's told Comey, we're not going to prosecute you for the leaks. He told Tony Podesta, we're not going to prosecute you either. And he lost Jeffrey Epstein. So, he's 0 for 3. So when's he going to do something?
Well, and I think that's a great question because what we already know is enough to indict people, and yet what we see is they're indicting a couple of American citizens so they can arrest them, so they can get a big political spin out of that right after lunch with Rudy Giuliani. Why aren't they investigating and indicting the real criminals? Thank you for listening to the Morgan Streetman Show. We hope you enjoyed what you heard, and if you did, please click like and subscribe to help us out. And remember that we recommend that you exercise your brain at least once a week.